Welcome to the hottest entertainment blog on the internet today, the A-List. I am your host, the game changer, Wes Truth. And it's lucky episode number 13, and I have a special guest here with me just for that lucky number. Ladies and gentlemen, she is a fan of the A-List. She's a friend of mine from Twitter. This is Annie.
Hello. How's it going?
How you doing tonight, Annie? Are you okay?
This is so weird, but I was thinking, like, you were gonna say that to me. But yes, I am okay, and I am doing splendid. Thank you for asking.
I know a little bit about you, of course. Why don't you tell the fans here of the A-List a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi, I'm Annie. Well, first off, I want to say that why I like Disney and Pixar, I'm not the hugest fan, I will have to admit to that. Because if I did, I would know every trivia question in the book and whatnot, but I still like, Disney and Pixar films and whatnot, and I try to learn about it and stuff. And I like going to Disney World and the Disney parks, and I also like reading books, watching movies, and I like junk foods. So, I'd probably like to talk about that in the meantime, and I like food, so if any of you guys mention food, I'll probably talk about that. I don't know really. I want to be a writer, so yeah. I don't have a blog yet, but I want to say that I have two blogs I plan to come out with soon. One's a movie review blog, and I want to test my, because I took two film related classes, and I want to put test my knowledge of film and stuff, and watch movies and then review about them. So that one I plan to do, and another one is a research studies blog, and it's gonna be interesting because it's basically me trying to learn about things that I'm not aware of or don't know very well, or want to learn more of, like, say, the other countries, like cultures, like, for example, France, Japan, Scotland, any countries I'm interested in and whatnot, and not just like places and whatnot, but like maybe about certain types of things, process, and how it goes.
I'll definitely be reading those blogs when you start them up, and I'll let everyone on the A-List know when that's going to start. Me and you talk a lot about Disney parks on Twitter and whatnot, so I had to ask you, what are some of your favorite attractions at the parks?
Oh gosh, there's just like so many I like. If we're picking park specific wise, I would just say, like, in terms of the 4 parks in Disney World, because honestly, I'm gonna confess right now, that is the only Disney park I've been to. Although my dream is to go to Disneyland, that's on my bucket list. Like, and if I had a Disney dream, a lot of people would say, like, since they want to go into the field of animation and stuff, they're like, I want to work for Disney and whatnot. But for me, because I'm more of like a Disney appreciator kind of fan, I would say my bucket list is to go to Disneyland. It's because it was Walt's first park, and I want to see what he saw, and just experience it as a whole. And the magic there, so yeah. And okay, anyway, going back to, sorry, going off topic there, but going back to the Disney park, in Disney World, I would have to say, in terms of, I'll go with each park. Magic Kingdom, I really, really like Splash Mountain and Space Mountain. Those two are my favorite mountains. Recently I haven't gone to Splash Mountain yet, but I really want to go back there. But Space Mountain is definitely one of my favorite rides there. I like the whole going roller coaster in the dark concept and feeling like going space, even though it's a bit scary. So, but it's nice. I have a lot of memories from Space Mountain, so that's why it's one of my favorites. And I do like Pirates of the Caribbean a lot. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
the Monsters of Laugh Floor, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because it's hilarious. It's like my family, all my family members and I go there every time. We have to go there. It's like the must, the to do thing. Like if I had to recommend some to a first timer who goes to Walt Disney World and one of the attractions of Magic Kingdom, I'd be like, go to the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor Comedy Club. It's worth it. Epcot, I really like the World Showcase because it's so much fun and stuff. I like just seeing the whole different countries. I don't know which one I like the best. I always like the Mexico Pavilion because the three caballeros, the boat ride. This is always so much fun to go on. It's like, I don't know. I just like the three caballeros and how relaxing the ride is and what it looks like.
Basically, there's no wait ever for that. You can just ride on it, and it's a nice, relaxing boat ride. You basically have the boat to yourself.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, and the other pavilions I like are I've only been there once, but the Canada pavilion.
Oh yeah, we got for Dylan.
Yeah, that too. But, I have a friend who's also in Canada. A few friends too on Twitter. So yeah. So
nice.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the Canadian peeps.
Yes. The other countries I like are France, England. I just like going by there and just marveling at it. And the American Showcase, I went there once, so I like that one. And Norway. I think that's one of my favorites there.
Yeah.
Norway.
The Maelstrom.
The Maelstrom, yes. That's always a fun ride, but we always skip the after show.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
Some people go there
back over the falls.
I really like the land.
Yeah.
My mom loves it. I just like looking at like the food, like how they're grown, and learning stuff like that. Agriculture stuff. There we go. And it's very educational.
Very.
Yeah, it's like an educational field trip, and it's a nice one. And I also like soaring. That is my favorite.
Don't tell Jeff Heimbuck.
Test track, yes, test track. Yes. I haven't gotten a chance to try out the new test track yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Really want to. It's just cause. So yeah, those are some of my favorites at Epcot. Animal Kingdom, I can't really say what I liked about it, but I'm only gonna say one. I mean, I've been there just like once, but I think I remember that I think it was the Kilimanjaro Safari.
Yeah, the safari.
So
that's one of the best there.
Disney's Hollywood Studios. Ooh, yay. I haven't been there for a while, but I always liked the Tower of Terror, even though the Twilight Zone theme song freaks me out.
Well, you'll be thrilled to know I'll be playing that in the background right now.
Oh my... That's one of my favorites, just because I like that you get to go up and see the whole park, and then it's like, woo! But sometimes I'm like, there's an always question that's on the back of my mind, as well as any other park goer probably, I'm pretty sure, for those who've been on the Tower of Terror. What happens if the ride breaks?
Yeah, ooh.
I also like the Great Movie Ride. And
question: did you get the gangster or the cowboy?
Maybe the gangster.
Okay, you're safe. I have been on that ride so many times, and I've yet to see this cowboy that people say exists. So I'm gonna strangle this cowboy because I never get it.
I want to see now that you mentioned it. I really want to go back there and see that cowboy. But
it's on YouTube, so I know it exists.
I know it's by Aerosmith. There we go. Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster. I went there like the second time to Disney's Hollywood Studio, and that was probably like my second favorite ride there. Even though it's really fast and you go backwards, and it just went by really fast, like snapped like in seconds. I really liked it. I went with my dad, and he's like, I could hardly remember a thing. It was dark.
And of course, we'll talk about movies on here on the A-list. What are some of your favorite movies?
Super 8. That has to be some movie I have to mention. Super 8. I just liked everything about it. I don't know what I liked about it or attracted me to it. I think I like that it has a 70s feel to it. Feels nostalgic, even though I never lived in the 70s. The fact that it's about these group of friends who go and make a movie, and it feels like I can't say it's like a sci-fi. I just like the whole thing because it reminds me of E.T., another movie I like.
Yeah, definitely.
And I heard the movie had a feel of like that E.T. meets Goonies, I think, or something like that is what some people have said about the movie. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's just something I remember reading. And I even have the movie poster. It's like right there, like
nice.
Small. Barely see it, but I like the soundtrack too. Just another one I like is Singing in the Rain. I like musicals depending on the film and whatnot. It has to be really good, but this one is so vibrant, so colorful. I like the romantic story in it, but also like the songs, like not just Singing in the Rain. Like Moses, the song is called Moses, but they say Moses to Moses. And good morning.
Of course. Yes.
Okay, and now on to the book adaptations to film. The Hunger Games is one of my favorites, as you can see by my poster. And Harry Potter, all the Harry Potter movies, all 8 of them. Not gonna lie. Lord of the Rings. I'll have to rewatch it again. The Hobbit, which I seen recently. The cinematography, awesome. And I like the acting. Star Wars and Star Trek movies. I like both of them. I cannot go without mentioning them. Some of the Pixar films I like are Brave. It's not like my first. It's not like my top favorite. It's though like top 5 maybe. This story hits home with me and my mom, and I have the same relationship with my mom as Merida did with her mom. So yeah, so I like that it's relatable in a sense, and I like animation, and also I like music definitely, and I was a fan of her younger brothers. That's how I got into the film, by seeing a concept art of the triplets. Pixar films I like, Toy Story, all of them. Although I would say 2 is my least favorite. 3 and 1 are like tie. I don't know which one I like better. I like the first one just because the whole idea, it was the first, it was the first of Pixar's, and the whole idea of just toys coming to life it's very interesting. I like the storyline. I like Sid as a villain, I like that it's one of the few films that has a young person as a villain, like in terms of children.
Yeah.
Toy Story 3. Oh gosh, I loved it. It's just like, I don't know how to describe it. I'll just say like it did make me cry. Like everybody else says, it made me cry. It was like leaving her childhood, and that movie came out at the same time I started college, so I was like, I could relate to like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just being like, oh, I'm gonna miss. Really liked Lotso.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I remember hearing about him being a stuffed bear, and like they were selling him, he smelled like actual strawberries, and so I was like, oh, I gotta smell him when I go to Disney store. So I got that chance when I went to Disney World and to one of the stores in downtown Disney. I hope this is true, and then I smelled him, and he did smell like strawberries. Other Pixar films I liked were WALL-E, Find Nemo, and the most underrated one I would say, A Bug's Life.
Yeah, that's true.
I really liked A Bug's Life, because I like Flick. I just like his whole character and the dreams he had and how he was an inventor, like innovator and stuff like that. A recent favorite I would add to my top list. 2 of them are Ratatouille. Hopefully I pronounced that right because I cannot pronounce French words.
That's how I say it.
Ratatouille and Monsters University. The Disney movies that I like, wow. There's like so many. But a few I will list are Wreck-It Ralph. That's definitely my top favorite. The Black Cauldron. I really like that one, even though it's like very underrated. Both Rescuers film. Rescuers and the Rescuers Down Under. Like Mulan, Peter Pan, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast. The Great Mouse Detective, definitely. I like their take on Sherlock Holmes, so yeah.
Yeah.
Plus Ratigan, such a great villain.
Yeah.
Hercules, definitely Hercules. Hades is my favorite Disney villain, so he's so comical. If like I had to name any villain on top of my list, he would be on the top of my list. That's one, but it's not just the reason I like Hercules, but that's just one of the reasons. I like other things for it. I like Greek mythology in a sense, so yeah.
Makes sense.
I also like Lilo and Stitch. Although that film has had before it had to grow on me. I had to watch it a few times. This is my first Disney film ever, but Fantasia. The first Fantasia, not Fantasia 2000. The first Fantasia. It's got to be on my favorites list because that was the first one I watched, and it's just a masterpiece to me. Like, just one of the best.
What are some recent movies you've seen?
Star Trek Into Darkness, which I loved. And not just because, of Benedict Cumberbatch. Monsters University, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, because I read the books, so I'm just like, I have to see the movie. And Iron Man 3, but otherwise, that's about it.
Well, it's September already. I can't believe it. So I think it's time we do. Everyone's doing one, so why don't we? A fall movie preview. This is going to include September, October, and November. So there's some interesting titles coming out, mostly in November. So we're gonna go down the month by month and let you know what's coming out. This week we have one release this weekend, and it is Riddick. Vin Diesel returns to reprise his role from Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick, obviously. Interesting, I think.
I haven't seen Chronicles of Riddick. I heard about this film from somewhere, from places and whatnot. I think this mall had a preview of the movie or something.
Oh.
Like, it's a must-see, but it might be like more like a DVD kind of movie.
Next weekend, the 13th, Friday the 13th, Insidious Chapter 2 opens, which, the first Insidious, I thought it was alright. The thing that ruined it for me was that everyone was like, oh my god, this is the best horror movie I've seen in 20 years, or whatever. And I put it in, I'm like, really? That's the best you've seen in 20 years? I don't know. But hopefully Chapter 2 will be a little better. And also, The Family with Robert De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Interested a bit because Diane Agron.
Oh, yeah.
She's one of my favorite actresses, and...
She is one of the former Babes of the Year, by the way.
Ooh.
on my show a couple years ago.
So anyways, she's one of my favorite actresses.
Nice.
I've seen her in not just Glee, but like I Am Number 4,
Mm-hmm.
and some other works. She was also on one of my favorite shows, CSI New York, even though it's a small role. But, yeah. It kind of interests me a bit, the plot and whatnot, and I like to see what her role is, even though she's like the daughter or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a little bit curious about the film. I'm not gonna lie, just a bit curious about her role and whatnot. But if I don't go see it, it's like a DVD thing, I'll probably watch it.
The week after, September 20th, we have a movie that, look, it basically is a step-up, rip-off, I'm assuming, by the previews. Battle of the Year. All I know about this is Chris Brown's in it. So, pass. Prisoners which I just saw the preview this week, and I'm pretty down for this one. It looks pretty cool. Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm a big Hugh Jackman fan, and I guess his daughters get kidnapped, and he's looking for who did it, and then he's not the guy that actually did it, and he kidnaps him, and I have no idea, but it looks really cool. Rush, starring Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, a race car movie that takes place in the 70s, and Olivia Wilde's in it. Interesting, I think. Ron Howard directs it, so you can't really go wrong there, except for maybe a few. And Wizard of Oz returns to IMAX that weekend.
Rush, I've seen a lot of talk about, and I follow Ron Howard on Twitter, so I always see him talking about it in the movie and stuff. And I'm like, maybe, but I'm not sure about that. Probably, but most likely again DVD. And
also, the last week, the 27th, we have Don John, which I'm kind of interested in. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Scarlett Johansson are in this, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt he's obsessed with porn, and he gets caught, and I don't know, it looks interesting. Another one that comedy drama, I have no idea, but it looks pretty cool. Animated film, Cloudy 2, with a Chance of Meatballs 2. I actually never saw the first one. I own it, but I never watched it. So, but I'm sure that's going to change in the next few weeks. And Baggage Claim, which is a romantic comedy.
It's like the first Cloudy movie. It keeps coming up. I go on this site called Tumblr and have gifs about it, and then now they're talking about Cloudy 2. Yeah, I can't go. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna see the second one just because I need to see the first one. But yeah, I saw the preview for it when I went to see Percy Jackson, and I was like, it looks interesting, but I haven't seen the first movie, so I'm gonna have to pass.
Some more interesting titles coming out. The first week of October, the 4th, we have Gravity, starring George Clooney and Sandra Bullock. They're astronauts that get, I guess, stranded in space. Something happens, Apollo 13-ish, kind of, in a way. That's what it reminds me of. And all I know is they're above Earth and something. And there's that, and then there's Runner, which stars Mr. Batman himself, Ben Affleck, and Justin Timberlake.
Pretty maybe, because I do like Sandra Bullock's acting and stuff, so yeah, maybe that one.
October 11th, we have yet another Romeo and Juliet adaptation. Haley Steinfeld, who was in True Grit, and is she in Ender's Game?
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought. She plays Juliet, and I don't know many of the other offhand. I think Paul Giamatti's in it, because Paul Giamatti's in every movie that comes out, so why not? Also, Machete Kills, the sequel to Machete, which I don't really know is that's necessary, and Captain Phillips, starring Tom Hanks. Is that the one you were looking forward to in October? The Romeo and Juliet?
The Romeo and Juliet. That one I was looking forward to. Just because I want to see how this one fares. It looks from the trailers that I've seen of it so far. I think there's 2 of them, or 1, or I don't remember, but I think there was 2, if I can recall. The second one, it seems like when I watch it, it seems like it's like the retelling of Romeo and Juliet and the more modernized version, but there's something about it that looks different. I can't place my finger on it, but I don't know. And plus, I like Haley Steinfeld's acting, so I really want to see that one for sure.
And October 18th, we have the only nationwide horror movie release that's coming out in October. That blows my mind. Usually there's 3 or 4, well, like one every week. It's Carrie, another remake, of course, this time with Chloe Grace Moretz as Carrie and Julianne Moore as her mom. I'm interested in that one. Hopefully it was only pushed back. It was supposed to come out in March, Hopefully it was only pushed back because they realized there were no other horror movies. But,
yeah, that would be something.
Yeah, and not for the fact that it was like really bad and they had to remake the whole movie or something. So I don't think it did any reshoots. So I think that was The Escape Plan with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. Anytime you team those two up, that's a manly movie right there. So that should be interesting. And The Fifth Estate with Mr. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh my gosh, Benedict! Yeah.
So I know which one you'll be seeing then.
Well, maybe because, like, I read the plot for the film and now I'm interested in it, and the fact that I don't know, I'm interested in the plot itself and the fact that he's in the film.
Yeah, it's all about the WikiLeaks. So if you're into the WikiLeaks stuff and that whole case, definitely Fifth Estate is something to check out. October 25th, Jackass Bad Grandpa comes out, and I was sort of like, oh my. But by the previews, it looks pretty funny, I think. Hopefully that's not the only good things in the movie, but it's kind of like a Borat, Bruno type Sacha Baron Cohen movie, I think. It kind of looks like a ripoff of that, but because of the real situations with real people, and he's doing a character, but I think it looks pretty funny. And a movie I don't know much about called The Counselor comes out that weekend as well. Brad Pitt's in it, and I assume he's a counselor. So on to November, and I'm sure there's a lot here. We might be having a roundtable discussion every week or something here. Probably four roundtable discussions about these movies. I'm assuming so. November is going to be a very busy month at the A-list. November 1st. Ender's Game, and we have Miss Ender's Game here herself. I know you're interested in that movie.
Yes, I am. I'm probably gonna have this thing with my friend where we're just both fangirl about Ender's Game after we see the movie. We're just gonna be like, talk about the whole thing. But I'm just so excited about the movie because this book, I read it, I heard about it becoming a movie, I saw the still, and that got me interested in the movie. I wish I was interested in the book earlier because I seen the covers and stuff, but until now I wasn't like into it and stuff, and I read the book, and I'm just floored by the story, the writing, the character development, and my favorite thing is what they put Ender through and the message, the whole story. I want to see how that comes to in terms of film, but hopefully I don't go just as a book movie goer because I want to be like, oh, they changed the scene, yeah, or this line's not in the movie, boo, and stuff like that. You know? I want to see it as a film goer, so I'm interested and excited both ways, not just because of the cast, which is cool because they have Harrison Ford, Ben Kingsley, Haley Steinfeld, Asa Butterfield, and whatnot, and also this actor I'm looking forward to because he was in The Dark Knight in a small role. His name is Aramis Knight, and he's gonna play this character in Ender's Game called Bean. So yeah, and I'm just looking forward to the whole movie.
Also that weekend, Las Vegas comes out, which is pretty much the geriatric version of The Hangover. 4 old men go to Vegas on a bachelor party. I'm sure it's not going to be as wild as The Hangover, but who knows? Maybe they'll lose their Depends in the luggage or something. I don't know. And a movie that we've talked about on here before, Freebirds, comes out. The Turkey movie, the weekend after. One I'm really anticipating for the whole year. Thor: The Dark World. The sequel to the Thor movie, of course. You've got, obviously, Thor. And, of course, for all the fangirls out there, Mr. Tom Hiddleston. This might be his last hurrah as Loki. Then again, maybe not. Maybe not. I'm looking forward to it. So, the previews look pretty good. And they're putting more Tom Hiddleston in the movie now. They're doing the reshoots. So, I guess that's not a bad thing.
I like most of the Marvel movies, although I haven't seen some of it, like the Hulk, to name one example.
That's the one a lot of people haven't seen.
Yes, I have to like go on a Marvel movie spree before I see Thor 2. And Thor 2 looks really interesting. And I heard like fascinating tidbits about it at the Comic-Con.
November 15th this is probably going to be an Oscar buzz film, I'm assuming. The Wolf of Wall Street, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese together again for the 80th time. November 22nd. I know this one's with you too. Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, I'll confess, I didn't read these books either. So
What?
yeah, I know. I'm not a huge book person. But so I really enjoyed the first one. It made my top 10 list of last year, and that was seeing every film. And I really enjoyed it, so I'm really looking forward to see what happens in the sequel. And this is like a best of, if you will, of all the past winners are gonna compete in the Hunger Games once again. So I'm sure I know who's gonna come out alive, but then again, you never know.
I read all the books, I read the trilogy, and I think out of all the trilogy, this is my favorite one out of the trilogy. This is my favorite book. I really am looking forward to how they not just deal with the spark of the rebellion, but also the games. The games is what I'm interested in most. My favorite character starts in the game. Her name is Joanna Mason, and she's fierce and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her characters. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. But the Quarter Quell as a whole, just a whole part of the games and whatnot, that whole, like, I think, like, it was third, like, the book was, like, into, like, sections. I think it was, like, in the last section where the game started. I'm looking forward to that part of the movie the most. Even though I do like the first half and whatnot, the first two halves, and the romance, and the, what people would say, the love triangle between, oh gosh, Peeta. I almost called him Petra. And, Peeta and Gale and Katniss. I'm just really looking forward to the whole thing. And plus, I get to see Josh Hutcherson again as Peeta, and I like his acting. And Jennifer Lawrence, she's one of my favorite actresses too. So I'm really looking forward to this movie of hers.
And the other movie that no one's probably gonna see that weekend, will get slayed at the box office. Poor Vince Vaughn. That happens to him every time he makes a movie. The Delivery Man, which actually looks pretty decent, I think. I saw the preview for the first time last week. It's a man who finds out he has, like, he donated his sperm sample to this place, and he has, like, 100 kids or something. So, story of my life. This is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Frozen opens. Disney. The big Disney film this year that we don't know a whole lot about. A little more comes out every month, but hopefully we'll actually get a full theatrical trailer, being we're only 2 months away.
Sorry, I was gonna say the trailer is coming out this month.
Okay.
In September, so I'm looking forward to that. But I really am looking forward to the sisterly bond between Anna and Elsa and Olaf. Because of the just because they had that leaked footage of Frozen, and I saw more of his character, and I kind of liked him a lot. He seems quirky and funny, and kind of pretty much all around awesome. But I'm just looking forward to it as a whole Disney film. Kristen Bell is finally gonna voice the Disney princess, and I'm really looking forward to that because I love some of her roles.
Right, that is basically the movie wrap-up for the fall. So pick the ones you want to see, and other than that, don't go. A few other tidbits here in movie news this week. 50 Shades of Grey casting was announced, and it's some pretty interesting choices here. Charlie Hunnam was announced for Christian Grey. You'll know him from Sons of Anarchy, the TV show, and of course Pacific Rim, that came out in July. I guess he'll be showing his Pacific Rim off now. And the girl role, Dakota Johnson, will be Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson's daughter, who's not really that well known, will be playing Anastasia Steele, the main girl role. Not that big, not huge names, but this is such a huge franchise. I don't know that it even really. It could be anybody playing the roles, you know, and it'll make money. So, what do you think about 50 Shades of Grey?
Oh gosh, I'm usually open-minded to stuff, but 50 Shades of Grey, every time I hear about it, I'm like, please stop mentioning that, or gosh, why do we have to talk about that book? Because I read samples of the book, and I'm just like, what is it with people liking this book? I mean, I get it, but it's just like, you know, that's my reaction first off. I'm just reading. I heard about the casting news, and they had this petition to have, I think, Alexis Bledel. And
Yeah.
I forgot the actor. What was his name?
Matt Bomer, I think.
I'm not sure. Something like that, yeah. They were like petitioning. And I'm like, why?
Also, some news. Transformers 4, for those of us who still care about the franchise, has gotten its title. And it is Transformers Age of Extinction. Very random. I'm sure it has something to do with the movie. But, yeah, it makes me think of Jurassic Park. I don't know. I'm expecting dinosaurs or like a Countdown to Extinction movie.
Age of Extinction. Are we gonna have like dinosaur robots or something? Or like, you know? I'm sorry, but it just reminds me of dinosaurs too. Like I think you said earlier, Jurassic Park. That would make sense for a Jurassic Park film, but you know, I guess if it works for that film, and then it works. But I just think of dinosaur film when I hear that.
Alright, everybody, now it's time for us to make the box office prediction. And last week, I finally got back on track. I said One Direction, This Is Us would be number one, and I was. Thank you, One Direction fangirls. Finally, someone put me back on track. And it makes my score 177 and 47. Nice. This week, there's one new release, as we talked about, and that is Riddick. So, unless the One Directioneers go and see the movie again, which I don't put past them, and scream at the screen, I'm going with Riddick as my number one pick. I could be wrong, but I'm going with that. What do you think will be number one?
That's really hard because sometimes I think the directioners would probably want to get the movie up top. Gosh, I'm not really good at these kind of things. I would say I'm gonna probably agree with you on Riddick, just cause. But if One Direction does come again, like unfortunately or something like that, no offense, but like if it does come again, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm just gonna.
Brings us to this week's trivia question. Last week, my trivia question was, name all the other actors other than Ben Affleck who have portrayed Batman in non-animated films. And I got half of an answer, or 1/5 of an answer from someone. Cammy, who's one of my peeps on Twitter, gave me Christian Bale, that's all I know. But also on Twitter, Empress Tina filled out the rest. We've got Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, and yes, Adam West from the 60s movie. So those are last week's answer. This week's trivia question is, what is Vin Diesel's real name? Yes. So tweet that to me, Facebook me, and see if you can get the answer right. Alright, and that brings us to this week's Babe of the Week. I'm gonna go with one of the A-list favorites. She does have a movie coming out in limited release soon called Plush, I believe. It's by the same author of Twilight, so I'm out. But I'll see it because of her. It better be good. Emily Browning. There's a lot of pretty girls in this city. There's a lot of pretty girls in this city. I'm trying to pick the right. And of course, when we have a female co-host, I let them pick a hunk of the week. So why don't you lay down your hunk on us?
I normally pick, like, actors I like. I have, like, few of them that I like, but for now, I'll go with somebody that most people might have seen in movies, but probably haven't heard of him. And his name is J.J. Field, so J.J. Field would be my pick.
Right, well, that brings us to the close of another show. Thanks again to Annie for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Come back anytime.
I can't give up my other links yet, but hopefully my blogs soon. There's one on WordPress that I have coming out soon, so hopefully then.